In my last woodworking video, I made some slightly more dimensioned wood that I cut from baseboards and molding, and I cut it on the ground. Now I'm going to raise the bar. This is what I want to make. It has an I-beam and then some legs. Now I'm going to use this wood and make my own sawhorses. To make the I-beams, I guess that 2 feet wide would make a good sawhorse. I got 6 pieces, and for the middle ones, I tried real hard to flatten them. I got a chisel and sandpaper and I made it flat. Then I clamped them together, and I used some screws all the way through, and I held everything together. Now here's the fun noise that the screws made while going in. Making an I-beam isn't the hardest thing. Adding the legs at the right height is much harder. And so I did a couple of guess measurements at what a good height would be, and I decided about 3 feet was good enough. And then I started attaching them. Now some of these boards are very wavy. They're my first time processing any wood into something more usable. And so it made guessing where to put the legs angle at a little bit harder, and I had to figure out a couple of ways to support them. And on this first one, I was just basically holding it and trying to use the 2 drills very effectively to get the hole made and drill in the screw. The first test was a failure. It wasn't really holding my weight, so I took off that one leg I wasn't really sure about and then reattached it, and it worked great. As long as I didn't shift my weight to the side, it could easily hold my weight. Once again, I processed the wood myself, and it was my first time cutting wood like that, so it was pretty wavy. And on the I-beam, it was not very even in the amount of distance. And on the second one, that mattered a lot more. And so I had to cut out little pieces for the legs to go in. That way it had some more consistent leg angle. I did get a little bit smarter when I was doing the second sawhorse. I was able to use other objects to hold the leg up at an angle with either the workbench or the other sawhorse to make it better. It was also important to use the other sawhorse as a reference so that I get 2 fairly close sawhorses. And this is my finished product. Is it usable? Yes. Would I make it again? No. I'd use some other wood, particularly thicker wood, so that way the legs wouldn't be as wobbly from side to side, and maybe take some lateral movement easier. When I processed that wood, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to make with it, but I'm glad I was able to make something that's going to be useful for at least for now. And maybe I'll make something more in the future, but I'm not going to really plan for that. I'm probably just going to use regular wood in the future.